Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live from the Labor Department here in Washington. I'm Jennifer Schonberger. The labor market rebounding in November after being slammed by 2 hurricanes and a worker strike at Boeing in the month of October. That non-farm payroll number bouncing back to the tune of 227,000 jobs versus a revised 36,000 in the month of October, though the unemployment rate ticking up 0.1% to 4.2%. For more insight on this morning's report, I want to welcome into the program Acting Labor Secretary Julie Su. Secretary Su, thanks so much for joining me. It's always great to see you.
You too, Jennifer.
So we saw a rebound in the job market in the month of November, quelling any fears about further weakening in the job market, though we did see an uptick in the unemployment rate to 4.2%. To what do you owe that?
So this is another example of this really historically strong economic recovery and the transition of, as we've been talking about for some time now, to steady and stable growth. Last month we said that the hurricanes and the fact that there were tens of thousands of workers on strike affected the number, and this month landed exactly where we expected it to land. The total number of jobs created have been unprecedented under this administration. In fact, it's the only one that has seen job growth every single month in the entire time that a president has been in office. We're very proud of that. We're handing off the strongest economy in history to the next administration. The unemployment rate at near just above 4% has also been very, very consistent. Defied expectations, but very, very consistent. So it is up slightly, but since the summer, it's been between 4.1 and 4.3%. And what's important to note is, even with a slight uptick, the labor force participation rate is incredibly high. It's like for prime age workers at a 20-year high. Normally, when you see more workers in the labor market, you see, bigger bumps in unemployment. That has not been the case here. And so, again, like by all markers, this is a jobs report that we're proud of and an economy that we're really proud of.
But we did see the labor force participation rate actually tick down again for the second month in a row. Any thoughts on that? And the fact that we did see the uptick in the unemployment rate to 4.2%, is that a recognition that more people are trying to join the labor force, and that is why the unemployment rate went up? Or do you expect that that will continue to drift upward in the coming months?
So there's been a trend in terms of the overall labor force participation rate because of older workers, right, of sometimes a slight decrease or steadiness. For the prime age workers, it has been very steady for a very long time. And that means people are, feeling positive about the labor market. They're coming in, they're looking for jobs, they're finding them because of the large number that have been created, and they're making more in them, right? Let's keep in mind that wages are also up, and the rise in wages has outpaced inflation for months now. And so we're seeing wages on the rise and inflation going down, another marker that when you prioritize the well-being of working people in an economy, it does make a difference.
Looking at the retail sector, we did see retail jobs fall by 28,000 last month. Thanksgiving was later this year, which meant that Black Friday and the start to the holiday shopping season was later this year. How much of that downdraft do you think was because of a later start to the holiday shopping season versus demand for workers being lower because of inherent lower demand by retailers and a weaker economy? Yeah,
I don't think it's a weaker economy. I do think there have been, we've been seeing a transformation in the retail industry, right, for some time now, but certainly online shopping is a part of that, because at the same time that the retail employment numbers are what they are, we're still seeing record, consumer activity, right? Black Friday has been reported to be the most activity in a long time. And so people are buying things. They've got some of that disposable income to do so. But the nature of how people shop, I think, has been changing. And, we're going to need to look over the next month also to look at retail, because this is a noisy period of time, right? The holiday shopping season does affect what happens in retail, and we'll need to look at another month to see if that's a real trend or just an aberration.
Speaking of trends and overall trends in hiring, we've seen that cooling. However, we haven't been seeing mass layoffs. Economists are calling this the no hire, no fire economy. What's your sense of that notion?
I don't know if that is more in comparison to, remember, there was a time, certainly in 2022, where there was so many jobs being created and a tight labor market giving workers more power to choose. So many of them were leaving their jobs to get better jobs, right? It wasn't that they were being laid off. It wasn't that they were leaving the labor market, which would have been signs of, of a weakening economy. All of the pieces put together were signs of a very strong economy. I think the same is true now, right? This is a period of greater stability. People are settling in. And so, again, of the jobs that we've created, of the jobs that are growing, it's no accident that many of those are also in industries that we've said if we build a stronger economy where we prioritize workers and their wages, then those industries also become stronger too. And so we're just, I think, seeing some more stability, more leveling out.
We know that immigration is also part of this story. The forthcoming administration has talked about mass deportations. Of course, we don't know when and to what extent that policy could be implemented, but if we were to see a drastic drop in immigration, what impact would you expect on job creation and wages in this economy?
I mean, that's one of those, sort of, I guess, campaign promises that really have put some, real fear and insecurity into communities. And by most accounts, it is something that would be very harmful to the strong economy that we will be handing off to, there. Part of the growth in this economy has been fueled by, immigrants who have long helped to strengthen our economy, to do critical jobs. And so, I'm not going to predict what is likely to happen, but I do think that, cruel and inhumane policies are inconsistent with building a strong economy.
This administration has done a lot for unions, organized labor. President-elect Donald Trump is looking to put forth as his labor secretary Representative Lori Chavez-DeRemer, who is a pro-union Democrat. Does that give you confidence that the reforms that you've made surrounding unions will remain intact in the next administration? And have you talked to Chavez-DeRemer?
So she and I have exchanged messages. I certainly want to be as helpful as possible in ensuring a smooth transition for her. I care deeply about the department, and one of the things that we have seen in this administration is that when the American people deserve a very strong labor department that is true to its mission, that understands that, when unions are strong, workers are strong, but that also a large majority of American workers are not in unions. And so the Department of Labor stands as a really important defender of their rights, of enforcing basic labor laws. We put $1 billion into the hands of working people just who experience wage theft. That means you go to your job and at the end of the day you don't get paid what you were supposed to be paid. That is a break of a fundamental law, and it's the responsibility of this department to enforce it, right, to make sure that that's not happening. We saw a decrease in this administration in the number of injuries on the job, fatalities on the job. I think those are examples of when the department is strong, when employers know that there is going to be enforcement if they choose as a business model to break the law. There are good results from knowing that there's going to be consequences to law breaking, right? So having a strong department is so important to all of that. And the most important thing is there are 15,000 career civil servants who work at the Department of Labor who believe in the mission, who come in to do that work every day, and I believe that they will continue to do that.
Secretary Sue, we'll have to leave the conversation there, but thank you so much for your insights. Always so appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Acting Labor Secretary Julie Su.